Hello. Today we're going to be learning about a piece called For Elise. A lot of students come to me and ask me, hey, I'd like to learn For Elise on the piano. It's just a piece that I love. So let's talk a little bit about it. Basically, For Elise was written for a piano teacher friend of Beethoven's that he had romantic interest in. And it was written for her student, who was named Elise. Thus the name For Elise, for Elise. So this piece of music is a classical piece of music, and we're going to take a look at it real quick here. This is the first page, and as you can see on the top here, we are written in 3/8 time. Now 3/8 time means, there we go. 3/8 time means that we're counting to 3, but the bottom number, what we do is we take the bottom number out and put it underneath 1, and whatever the name of that fraction is, that's the note that gets one beat. In music, our note values are ratios. So we have a quarter note. If a quarter note gets 1, well, then we know an eighth is a half of a quarter. So the eighth gets a half, and if the 16th is half of an eighth, then the 16th gets a quarter. But in this case, the eighth note gets 1, so the 16th gets a half. I know that's a lot, but this is intermediate classical, right? So we're looking here. So we start with E, D sharp, E, D sharp, E, B, D, C, A, all right? Which on our keyboard, if we come over here, it's this. E is here. Okay, so we look at the keyboard. Before every 2 black keys, there's a C. And after every 2 black keys, there is an E. So we have here. We have E, D sharp. Now D is here, D sharp is there. If I'm C, C is here, C sharp is there. Okay, sharp is always a half step higher than the note that we're actually saying. So we have E, D sharp. So that's our first thing in the right hand. And as we look down, on the piece, we can see that we start here with an A. That's an A in our left hand, and that A is A3. Now, how do we know it's A3? Let's go back to our keyboard for a minute. So that note right there is C1, and when we have A, B flat, and A, those are A, B flat, and A0, or A, B flat, and B0, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, and you can't see it with my webcam, but the highest note on the piano is C8. So we're using E5, because that's C4, that's E5, okay? And we have A3. And what we have in our left hand, okay, so we're going to use, in order to figure this out, there's 4 formulas that we use. Every gator bites down Florida are the lines in the G clef, the top one, okay? Face, FACE, is your spaces. Gators bite down Florida always. That's your lines in your bass clef. And all cousins eat gator are the spaces in your bass clef. So we have here E. And then when we play this A, we're going to play this A at the same time. So I'm going to come over here real quick. Let me just move over a little bit. And I'm going to move this camera like so. So we have this. That's A, E, A, A. Okay, look where I am. I got my 3 black keys. I'm right between the top 2. I have my E right after that 2. And I have A right between the top 3 keys again. So you can see where the A is. Okay, so I have here. Hit them together. Okay, now my next thing we have over here on the second, we're going to 1, 2, 3. We're going to call that the third measure. Really, it's the second measure. These 2 notes here, because we're in 3/8 time, right? So these 2 eighth notes, these 2 16th notes in the very beginning, those first 2, well, those are called pickup notes, because we're going to go to 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and 2. Now, The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to move my thumb down to C, which is before two black keys. C, okay, then I have these two black keys here, E, and then between these three black keys I have A. So I'm going to go A's together, bring my thumb down to C, C, E, A. Okay, now, then I'm going to hit B here with E in my left hand. Okay, now this next movement is a movement you do a lot on piano. It's certainly one that I do a lot. We're going to take our second finger over the top of the thumb and hit G sharp. Okay? So I have here E, E, D sharp, E, D sharp, E. Okay, that's 5, 1, 2. E, G sharp, B, and then C with A. E, stretch to E. I do it again. Back to E with B. Stretch to E. 2 over to G sharp. E, C, B, and then A's together. Okay, and that is my first theme. Now, a bit of advice here. What you really want to do, you want to make certain that when you're playing this, you're not just playing notes. Remember, when we learn piano, we're learning hand movements. So it's 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5. Then we're back. A, 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 5, 4, 3. Now, my finger numbers, just so we got this clear. Okay, I've got here 1. Let me just make sure I'm in the camera. Where am I? Yeah, right there. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are my finger numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to be using those fingers. Remember, we're not just going to be doing this. And just because you can do that doesn't mean it's going to be accurate, right? We're going to be able to play quickly and have some level of accuracy. So again, A, 1, 2, 4, 5. Stretch. A, 1, 2, 4, 5. Now, one thing I do see a lot of students do is they'll do this. But what have we essentially done there? What you've done there is you've gone 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3. But it's not 4, it's 3. That's why we always accent the first beat 3 and 1 and 2 and 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 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2. Right? So you want to make certain that we keep it in 3/4 time. So now, something else. Once you set your hand in this position, 1, 2, 4, 5, and you come over here, 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. 1, 2, 4, 5. Right? Those are our 2-hand positions. You may want to practice just doing that. I know it doesn't sound that great. But rather than play it broken, sometimes we can just play it block. Broken meaning one note at a time. Block meaning all at the same time. We go back and forth. The reason we do this is because here's the thing. You want to be able to forget about your right hand when you bring your left hand in, right? So I'm not gonna when I'm doing this, I want to be able to kind of have that breathing room to bring my left hand down to that E. Right? Ah. A, E, A. A, E, A. Like that, right? Okay, so that concludes our first theme of For Elise. Now, the beautiful thing about it is that once you learn one, you've learned a bunch of them because it continually repeats back at this theme, and we always want to kind of take a look at, let me just change the view here for a minute. We always want to kind of take a look at where we can find, whoops, I hit my elbow against the keyboard, where we can find 2-for-1 offers. You know, learn one, get one free. It's not a bad deal, right? Learn one, get one free. Well, I hope you enjoyed your first lesson on For Elise. And again, I'll just play it one more time for you so you got it. Here we go. Okay. Thanks so much. Have a great day.